Good evening. The Toronto Raptors lose against the Golden State Warriors, 120 to 105. Obviously, Scottie went out with a hand issue. It was a left hand. I think it hit somebody's foot. It might have been RJ's foot. He hurt his right hand earlier too, so just a bad hand night in general. And it's just two different brands of basketball. You really see how much he is the straw that serves the drink. And without him, the Raptors third quarter woes continue. And that was when you really saw the Warriors kind of take control of the game, which happens every third quarter, it seems like. But this one was a little bit different. Obviously, you add the no Scottie onto it. They put Kelly Olynyk there instead, which kind of makes sense, for the playmaking and the size. But I don't know, it just wasn't the same. I think it was the second play of the game I wrote, because the stadium's really quiet. You can hear quite a bit of stuff, especially in the beginning. Scottie just screaming at RJ to hurry up, and it's not like he was going that slow. It's just that Scottie was really wanting the pace to be faster, and especially Golden State on the second night of a back-to-back, and when Scottie was out of the game, in the third there, you really saw the pace kind of slow down. A lot of possessions going pretty deep into the shot clock with not great looks, and early on they were had pretty good ball movement. It looked like it was going to be a really good close game, and then you knew when Scottie went to the locker room, it just felt, it's kind of like a scene from Breaking Bad. It was just, the stadium is already naturally so quiet, but it just felt even quieter, just kind of complete dead silence as he just fouled the guy to get off. It was he needed to get off the floor immediately. So that's never good. And it looked like he's in a lot of pain. He seems to get a lot of wrist and ankle injuries in the game, so I was just hoping it was one of those things, but this looked pretty serious, just with how how quickly he got out of the game and just immediately, without talking to anybody, just straight to the locker room. So hopefully it's nothing serious, because you see what a Scottie-less team. It kind of throws off every lineup in a way, because he's with the starters, and then he's also important with the bench guys. So the whole rotation just gets completely topsy-turvy. I don't know how the Raptors were in this game at all. I know Clay was off until the end. Draymond was pretty off. But I don't know how. It was a 10-point game for a lot of it. We're getting DJ Carton, Boucher, Grady, Bruce Brown, just kind of these wild lineups that somehow didn't completely tank. Raptors lost by 15. I think the Warriors took their foot off the gas a little bit, kind of down the stretch of the game, but still, it just felt strangely close. It felt like the Warriors should have been up by 30 for most of the game. And at no point did the Raptors feel like after Scottie went out, did it ever feel like they were going to really seriously. I thought, they cut it to I think 8 at one point. But I don't know. It's just could not picture them. I couldn't picture them tying it or taking the lead, and then I definitely couldn't picture them holding the lead. I didn't think the defense was terrible, but it wasn't off the charts. It wasn't good enough to steal you a game when you have such a critical loss. Without Scottie, this team's probably more in the Hornets win range. They're probably more around the 14-15 win, maybe even worse. But you really see on display. It just sucks, because it looked like it was going to be an entertaining game. And the other really sad part is, Scottie's been quite a bit more hesitant to take threes, it seems like. And in this game, he came out gunning. He went 2 for 5. I think he had like 3 threes in the first few minutes, so he was kind of on a mission to get some threes up. So an unfortunate game to have your hand get all fucked up. Hopefully it's not too serious. If anybody has any info, I'll check the chat in a sec. Maybe some updates. Any doctors watching can let me know what happened. And yeah, Toronto hits 5 threes in the first 6 minutes. I don't know if that's ever happened before. Probably without Scottie, the Raptors' most impactful player was RJ Barrett. 23 points for him tonight. The only thing I'll say for him, he does have tunnel vision sometimes in transition. Like, he doesn't find the open guy soon enough. Or there was like one play at the end where I was like, Grady hit a 3, and then I was like, if you get it to Grady and he hits another 3, you've cut the lead to like, I think 6 or 7 at that point. But then RJ did a 1-on-3 drive, and it was kind of sloppy, and Grady was in the corner and had just hit a corner 3. It was kind of like, maybe give that another look again. But yeah, in transition, sometimes he doesn't hit the kick ahead pass soon enough. But other than that, some messy drives as usual. But you like his aggressiveness. Quickly had a really rough night. 4 for 16. Got up 12 3-pointers, which 12 is a decent clip. I went 3 for 12 from 3. Did have 11 assists, but just you needed, especially with Scottie out, you just needed more than 12 points from him. And Gary, my God, 1 for 8 from 3, 9 points. The defense is better overall in general, but this was one of his not so rare games where just like, did he play tonight? What's the deal with Gary? I still think it's karma from the NFTs. We'll long kind of believe that. Timelines kind of match up the same too, kind of when it started to all slip. Was right around the whole MetaMouse fiasco, the NFT he got involved in that just completely went to shit. Deleted all their everything, and he had MetaMouse stuff on his shoes and stuff. So I think there's some like karmic backlash from that, because he hasn't really been the same since the NFTs. NFT Junior. Sad, he kind of continues to make himself a question mark. I know the circumstances around the team contribute to that too, but he continues to kind of put himself in a weird situation where like the lows for him are really low, and if the dream is to be a starting caliber player, it's not necessarily like always the players who score the much that's score the got 6 men and stuff. It's not necessarily your best scorers. It's usually the guys who are like the most consistent, who what you're gonna get day in and day out. And Gary's really just not that. I think their sample size is big enough for that. Still an advocate of him being like a Doug McDermott. Just get up as much threes as you can in a short period of time as possible. With the short amount of time as possible being, important. But 1 for 8 from 3 tonight, and rough outing from Gary. 9 points, only starter not to hit double digits. But I mean, RJ 23 points, and then the next highest guy is at 12, or at 16 for Kelly, sorry, and then 12. So just nobody really. I didn't really feel like anybody like took the reins when Scottie left, and I guess you can't really. I don't know if you can really expect that. I don't know. That's an interesting philosophical question. It's like, when a player of Scottie's caliber goes out, do you try to recreate what he did? Not that anybody has the talent to do that, but it's like, do you rejig the roster, which they kind of did, like replace them with Kelly, which you get like, size and playmaking, I guess. Or is it better to just kind of continue on and just like leverage your strengths but I don't know. Whatever they did tonight didn't end up working. So Um, yeah, it didn't seem like anybody. Maybe you could say RJ kind of did, but it didn't really seem like anybody was like, get on my back or whatever. Not that people, you know what I mean. Putting the team on your back, whatever. I mean, I guess Chris Boucher. How much can Chris? Shouts to McDaniels who got a minute tonight. Chris Boucher 5 minutes. Kind of just to fill up time. They gave DJ Carton a little look. He had like 5 points in 7 minutes or something. 5 points in 6 minutes. Played a little defense for you. So this is 2 games in a row now, which this is starting to freak me out, where the entire team is minus except Gary, and it happened again. This happened last game too, where Gary was a +8 and everybody was like minus 23. Didn't make sense. And now in this game, everybody's a minus and then Gary's a 0. Oh, Boucher's a 0, but that's only 5 minutes. But yeah, Gary was an even in 30 minutes. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I know the defense has been noticeably better. I've talked about it. A lot of people have talked about it, noticed it. Maybe it has been that much better. I don't know. That's just weird though. But there's 2 games in a row now where Gary's this weird outlier plus minus on the positive side in a 30-minute game. So big enough sample size. So that's, shouts to Gary, 2 assists. So that's pretty heroic. The Raptors got their assists, 31 assists for the Raptors, but still it just didn't really work. Look at this fucking big guy here. It just didn't really work in any way that and it seemed like the Warriors were they were on 1 hour's sleep, so it kind of looked like they were playing that way, and they were able to they weren't taxed too much in this game. Hold This Big L says need Bruce Brown and Gary off this team in the offseason. Bruce Brown, yeah. I mean, it's kind of boring to talk about him at this point because it's just, it's a lot of head scratching stuff. There's a tradition now. It's really becoming a thing where the second Grady checks in, Bruce Brown just takes a semi-contested 3 with 17 seconds left on the shot clock. That's just become a play now that the Raptors do. And it just doesn't really ever seem to work out. And when Bruce Brown misses his threes, he misses his threes. He really he gets his money's worth on the misses. He'll miss by 3 or 4 feet on either side. He seems to overshoot it more than undershoot it. He just launches that thing, man. And yeah, I think he's just kind of in a freelancer. He's just a 20. He's someone in their 20s just kind of getting their career started, and they're just freelancing a bunch of different stuff, doing a little bit of web development, a little bit of design, a little bit of UX, a little bit of copywriting or whatever, but not doing any part of it all that outstandingly. Yeah, and it does kind of feel a bit sometimes like an effort thing from him, and I get it. It's probably not. But then just stay in Denver. Just stay in Denver. You know how the NBA works. The second you leave a situation like that, it's not like Indiana, some stable table. What the fuck did you think you were signing up for? Just stay in Denver. Take $3 less and win another championship and be happy or whatever. If you're gonna take this path, I don't really understand not putting in I don't know. It's what it looks like from the outside. It doesn't really look like he's that locked in. Gives you a whopping 4 points in 23 minutes. It was minus 120 during his Raptors tenure, something like that. Last game, throw on another, only -1. Throw on another -1 for Bruce Brown. 2 for 5 from the field. 2 turnovers, 1 assist. So But you can basically pencil him in for 23 minutes. I mean, I get after Scottie goes out, you are kind of short. Where's Jonte Porter at, by the way? What's going on with him? And I saw Freeman Liberty got a deal done. So when does he get here? Give him that 1 minute garbage time instead of McDaniels. But yeah, in terms of off the bench, Kelly had like no rebounds last game. He gave you 10 tonight, so he gives you 16, 10, 3 assists, 3 steals. He's been consistently good for you off the bench. Like, he's probably the most consistent, I would say at this point, bench player that the Raptors have. Obviously, like a veteran, you kind of know what you're getting from him. You're always gonna get a couple turnovers. He's very adventurous with his passes, which kind of goes with the playmaking aspect of how he plays. But that just kind of goes with the territory. But yeah, you got 5 offensive rebounds tonight. I thought he was really aggressive on the glass. He's really trying up there. 5 for 10 from the field, 16 points. Definitely your most consistent bench guy these days. Abaji, didn't really notice him that much in his 10 minutes, but it's never good when you're minus 18 in 10 minutes. Everybody else who's kind of around you is like -5, -1, -5, -5, -6, 0, -5. It's just the minus 18 sticks out a little bit when you only play 10 minutes. Jakob, I didn't really understand what the strategy. Jakob only played 25 minutes tonight. I know him and Olynyk, this was like the first game they played together. It wasn't amazing, I didn't think, but I didn't understand why. Like, yeah, I felt like Jakob was sitting for like 14 minutes, like from the halfway through the third until the like 4-minute mark of the fourth quarter. He was on the bench, and I thought he was pretty impactful. He had 14 rebounds in 25 minutes. That's like disgusting. I guess he had 5 fouls. I guess I'm an idiot. Yeah, he had 5 fouls, but he didn't get 6. But I guess that probably explains it. But yeah, he continues to be on an upward trajectory. I mean, 14 rebounds in 25 minutes is pretty wild. I know the Warriors aren't, like known for their size or whatever, but yeah, I mean, the only thing that really matters from this game is like the state of Scottie Barnes' hand. Because yeah, the whole thing just kind of falls apart because the starters, they miss like their number one he's kind of the number one option whatever lineup is out there, so it just changes the pecking order of like every lineup. If there's one player on this team that like you can't, is that obviously, I mean, this is kind of a dumb thing to say, but the most irreplaceable player on the team obviously is Scottie. Like, it's not even a fucking salient point. So why am I saying it? But yeah, so we had a couple cool moments in this game. RJ and Kuminga going at it a little bit, and then Draymond just kind of came in randomly, and RJ shot him like what are you doing look. Like, can anything happen around you where you like don't want to get involved with something? Like, can you just like RJ, the way I was looking at him, he's like, can we just like do our business here? Like, me and Jonathan, like we're talking here, we're shoving each other. Like, do you have to insert yourself into anytime there's like violence or drama? Are you just like addicted to it? Are you just like, you just get like sucked in like a Dyson vacuum to anything that's like could be potentially violent? Because yeah, he comes right over there. He was calling the referee a bitch. I don't know if people saw that. The female referee, a couple of people on Twitter pointed that out. He can just get away with anything. It's pretty amazing. Like, there's some guys who like are quiet the whole game. They'll say one thing and they'll get teed up. Like Jason Tatum always seems to just get like the funniest technicals where he's just like, he'll just like stick his arm in the air and they'll call the tech on him, and then Draymond will like just unload for most of the game, and it's just like, oh yeah, whatever. But that talking point's been talked to death, so we can move the fuck on my notes here. But yeah, it was kind of a funny little situation. I think with Kuminga, he got into it with Gary last time too. So he's, and I know him and Masai were kind of tight. I think he worked out for the Raptors. So maybe there's a little bit of, I don't know. But there seems to be with Kuminga a little bit of a Raptor rivalry. He was getting into it with RJ, who wasn't having it. They got double text, which is, that's like got to be the dumbest. Like what? There's no like metaphor. It's kind of like if like two people get into an accident, like it's usually one person's fault most of the time. It's not just like, oh, double tech. You're both responsible. You're drunk and T-bone the person, but we're gonna give you a double text. Like you're both on the road. It's just like what? I don't know what the double tech thing's all about, but it's a thing for sure. Gets called all the time, and I just didn't really understand like what the point of that really is. Just kind of seems like it's like if I bet if you ask the referees, like they probably wouldn't even know. It's just like this old custom that people still do. Oh yeah, give him a double tech, even though it's like 80% of this guy. But yeah, that kind of took the Raptors into the half. Clay had 0 points at the half. Draymond had 4. So, and I think Looney had 0. Which, by the way, like, what happened to? Because I feel like Kevon Looney like really took off during that whole like Hawks era. So I for me, I have like Kevon Looney and the 2021 Hawks in like the same. Like, what was that? Is this some weird like mirage or something? Like, did that actually happen? Is that real? Because yeah, he was like he was like one of their most valuable guys. And in any Warrior game I've watched this year, which is maybe, I don't know, 9, 10-ish. Like, I just don't notice the guy really, gets some rebounds here and there. But like, I don't know if he scored tonight. Let me check. I don't think he scored. I don't think he, Kevon, oh no, he did. I'm an idiot. Oh no, he didn't. Kevon Looney, 0 points. Yeah, Kevon Looney, 0 points, 10 minutes. Like, I just what happened? What's the Kevon? He always kind of looks like the mushrooms are like just hitting. He's kind of got that like holy shit look. But yeah, I don't know what happened there. No Pajemski for the Warriors tonight, so Clay's in the starting lineup. And yeah, so him and Draymond combined for 4 points at the half. So that's, big reason why it was even a game. And then just like every Raptors third quarter, Warriors going a 12-2 run, and that was kind of the game. It was kind of like pretty much tied up until that point. So again, this happens, and the Warriors outscore the Raptors 32-19 in the third quarter. That 12-2 run, it was basically like, the Warriors won by 15. It was garbage time at the end. It was basically a 10-point game, most of it, and a 12-2 run is a 10-point difference. That was kind of, the way I look at it, that was kind of the game at that point. And the Raptors just didn't have enough, and it didn't even feel like if they did have enough that the Warriors would like let them. Steph could just bring Steph back on and just hit a bunch of logo threes. But yeah, just randomly like kind of got a little weird like 10-point game for at 450. You had DJ Carton out there for like 2 full shifts. You had Grady out there. You had Boucher, Bruce Brown, and still managed to still kind of be a 10-point game. Just kind of weird. Again, it just felt like the Warriors were up by 30, but they weren't. Jakob finally gets back in at 3:30. And then Grady hits a 3. I think he made it 99-106 if I remember correctly. And then RJ next time down the court didn't find Grady in the corner in transition. Grady shooting like 80% from the corner, it feels like. And that I remember that was kind of like that seemed like the only plausible comeback is just like you get like a meme game from Grady where he just bombs threes. But that didn't happen. They didn't find him enough. They didn't find him enough in the first half either. And again, like I said, Bruce Brown taking threes, like the second Grady checks in, is becoming a tradition. But I also thought Grady didn't move enough off ball tonight. Usually he's really, this is funny because like, Steph Curry, the Warriors, they're kind of like the pioneers of just eccentric, crazy off ball movement. And that's how Grady plays usually. But tonight he was a little bit like too much in the corner. And I don't know if that's because the corner threes are so hot that he just wants to be there for spacing. But I think he's much more effective when he's relocating and just running around like a madman. Because, tonight it was a little bit static. And that's just how the Raptors offense kind of felt without Scottie as well. It's just kind of static, not as much flow, not as much ball movement. And, with Scottie pushing the pace, like screaming at everybody early on in the game to get up the floor, they were getting, decent looks in transition and earlier in the shot clock. He goes out of the game. All of a sudden, it's just more of a slog on offense. Things are just a little bit slower, not moving as fast. And then the Warriors defense gets more of a chance to reset, comes harder and harder to run stuff. And just kind of with him, it just kind of has this like compounding effect. Like without him, like you just lose every every aspect of what you're trying to do gets hurt so much on both ends of the floor. Now you don't have that help defense. Now you don't have the playmaking on offense, obviously the scoring. And I really think like the playmaking is really the kind of straw that does, and that's like the hardest thing to replace. Like, yeah, you could probably replace scoring. Maybe, some guy randomly gets off the bench and gets hot, but it's really difficult to replicate that like floor general role that he has. So once that happened, I mean, he kind of knew that the game was probably cooked outside of some random like RJ Barrett like 40 burger or something, but that didn't happen. But I guess for the situation wasn't horrible. 26.7% from three. That's pretty bad. Quickly going 3 for 12 is really not going to help you on that percentage. And really for the Raptors, like nobody was a threat from three tonight. You could say Scottie was, but he was only in the game for 16 minutes, 2 for 5. So he came out gunning, but nobody else really had it. I mean, RJ 2 for 4 is nice, but like nobody else hit more. Like quickly hit the most threes with 3, and he was 3 for 12. Everybody else, 2 for 6, 1 for 2, 0 for 2, 0 for 2, 0 for 1, 0 for 1, 1 for 3, 1 for 8 for Gary. Just not a lot of 3-point threats. And then they weren't efficiently getting into the paint either in the second half. I didn't think they just almost like they could feel Scottie wasn't there. So like there wasn't as much cutting, there wasn't as much and then obviously teams are doubling Scottie a lot on drives and in the post, so then creates less spacing. I mean, it's like a virus that like infects every part of your team when he's not there. So that's the hard hitting analysis, but what's going on in the chats? Treebeard looked good out there, says Poo Smoothie. Yeah, Jakob's been looking better. I didn't really picture it coming. Maybe it was injury early on in the year, but yeah, he's just way more impactful. Like he's playing like more of his size. Sucks about the fouls tonight, but yeah, still got to get the 5-footers though. I just want just all summer just shoot 5 foot little 5-footers. Cause like all of his I feel like he's like 5 for 10. Like he was 5 for 10 tonight, and like all 5 of those misses were just those little 5-foot shit things with no arc on them. I feel like Kem was really good at those. Whatever happened to Kem Birch? Like, is Kem Birch like actively playing basketball right now? Should just like bring him back as a coach for like push shots. Because yeah, he had a nice arc. Like he'd get that like nice snap on the net. You'd get that nice like sound. With Jakob, if it goes in, it's more of like a just, it's kind of like a Kawhi shot. It's just so flat. Obviously Kawhi slightly more accurate, but like the trajectory is kind of the same. Get a little need to get a little juice on the push shot, I think. Cuz he kind of has the teardrop too. Like he kind of has like the flat push shot, But then even the teardrop one, I feel like that hits the back throw pretty hard a lot of the times too. Kind of overshoots it. Yeah, bring Ken Birch back just to teach that one little skill. Gregory, I missed the game. Scottie has 2 hand injuries, question mark. Yeah, he kind of hurt like both of his hands, although one hopefully wasn't bad, but the other one caused him to leave the game. But yeah, it was like both. It's weird. It's like 5 minutes apart. 2 completely separate plays. Infamous. I really question Darko's in-game strategy in this game. Why are we trying to shoot with GS? Who's GS? I hate like abbreviations for people. Who the hell is GS? Garrett Temple? I don't know I don't know. I'm out of it. I'm lost. With GS. Has this team forgetting how to play defense? Okay. Golden State. Oh. GS Golden State. Who says Golden State, by the way? So why isn't it just like the San Francisco Warriors? You know, make it easier on all of us. Golden State. Tom Ashore. Funny moment when Alvin was laughing and remarking that Chris Paul needs to shave his head like himself. Yeah, there was a couple angles. Like overhead angles aren't very favorable for Chris Paul, but yeah, you could see it was pretty shiny, you know. I switched back and forth between broadcasts a little bit, so I feel like I may have heard that. There's something about Alvin saying some of the best nights of my life when I didn't get any sleep, and then Devlin's like, okay, yeah, okay, we got the free throws coming up here for this guy. And then Alvin's like, yeah, you know, a little Gatorade, little. So I don't know what. I guess that's like. I think he tried to clarify it with like the Gatorade comment as like, I guess when you're just like really fucked up on MDMA, like you've just had so much MDMA that like you crawl into the 7-Eleven at like 8 a.m. and you just buy like a big pack of gum and like 2 Gatorades, like a blue and an orange or a blue and a yellow. Because it's the only thing that will like satisfy not only the blood in your gums, but the gnawing dryness in the back of your throat that can only be quenched with a Gatorade or 2 that will go down amazingly smooth, but will give you acid reflux in 4 minutes. So I guess that's what he was talking about, but it felt like when he first said it, it was maybe not a family-friendly comment, but of course, alcoholism and gambling is very, very family friendly. Gregory, I low key don't mind. I don't know if I've ever said low key before, but I should start because I like it. I low key don't mind if he's put a few games in because he needed to rest to get his turn. What's travel defensive? I lose track. I don't know. I lost track of that. Spiraled out of control. But yeah, kind of a pretty boring product. Pretty boring post game show. Pretty boring existence in general. But the Raptors play the Hornets, so that's exciting. That's coming up for you in 2 days, folks. It's an early game. 3 p.m. Western time. So that's 6 p.m. Sunday. It's a Sunday game. The Lord's Day. Bless him with all of your, I don't know, I can't improv stuff that I don't, yeah. Hornets, Raptors coming up next for you. And then after that, you got Pelicans on Tuesday. And you've got some other bullshit later on, probably. And yeah, so play in push, taking a bit of a hit here the last couple games, and now with Scottie out, I don't know how. Obviously, you know how long Hill was going to be out. He's going to be out for, but the play-in hopes they wait in the balance. Any update? Let's check. Let's check Twitter.com to see if there's a Scottie Barnes hand update. What is Josh Lewenberg saying? Is anybody saying anything? I'm not seeing anything with Scottie. Have you guys heard anything? Do you guys know anything? Does anybody know anything about can't find any information. So I don't know if that's good or bad. Let's check the subreddit really quickly. Not that this is really I thought this would take like 4 seconds. This is really entertaining. Just seeing if there's any Scottie updates. Darko saying doctors are looking at it right now. We don't have any updates at this point. Scottie Barnes will not return tonight. So at least it's a contact injury. That's me trying to do like everything's okay with the house on fire. It's not like he was just running and then kind of collapsed, like his knee buckled or something, or Achilles. It was like an impact, so yeah, but that sucks. I think it's a shooting hand too, so that might add a little bit of time to that sucks for like obviously, you know, if you hurt your non-shooting hand, you can kind of still maybe his left will get even better, you know. Maybe his left will be crazy. He'll be taking left-handed threes at the All-Star game next year. What the fuck are these seals doing? This looks pretty happy. Unlike Raptor fans. But yeah, Raptors lose by 15 points. IQ hit his hand. So no more gold chain for IQ after that. I thought you guys were on the same goddamn team. Rig Papa, worst case scenario is a broken finger. How do you know? Oh, probably a broken finger. Okay. But yeah, it sucks when it's your was it his left hand? I thought it was his right hand. Am I going crazy? Let me see for a sec. Was it his right hand or his left hand? Maybe I'm tripping out. I could be wrong. Let me fact check myself here. Left hand. Okay, well then fuck. Ignore everything I just said. Don't ever listen to anything I ever say again. But no, that's good actually. Well, it's not good, but it's better that it's his non-shooting hand. Now at least he can get back to shooting a little bit faster than he probably would on his other hand. So, also that's the hand that's like, you know, your shooting hand that's got all the magic in it. You know, you don't want to. Your guide hand's really like a utility. It's just like it's like a spoon. Your guide hand. It's just, as long as you can, you know, as long as you can like guide something with it, whatever. The magic's in the right hand or the shooting hand. So yeah, the less injuries to the magic. the better. But yeah, he did kind of jam both hands, but it was the left that got him to leave the game, to foul. That's a good shot. Kind of looks like Columbia, the hillsides. It's got like, you got coffee plants. Like there'll be a coffee plant or a coffee farm around the corner. Little flower place. I don't know how many horsies they have down there though. I don't think they have as. I think they got horsies. He's got like a bandage on his foot though. What's going on with that? Hope he's okay. It kind of looks like Colombia too. A lot of these. Maybe that's where I'm at. Need to go back to South America. Researching places right now. But yeah. On that note, Raptors lose. Next up,